The road was long to get here. Many of these teams have been here before. One of the Super Six will rise above all the rest and become the 20th crowned and be deemed the Super Retriever Series crown champion. Who will this be? Welcome to the Super Retriever Series Crown Championship presented by Eukanuba. Hello everyone, I'm your host David Hamilton alongside our analyst and past SRS champion J. Paul Jackson. And J. Paul, we've reached the end here. It's time to crown some champions.
Yes, it is. It seems like we just got here yesterday and boom, it's almost over.
We've been in Huntsville, Alabama all week. We're now here where it's time to crown champions, both in the retriever trials and at the dock, but let's get started in the field.
Sure. Now, of course, last week we saw Stephen Durance and Abby, Lee Howard and M.E., and Clark Kennington and Stroker run. That leaves us with just 3 more teams, and at the end of the day, we'll be able to crown a professional Super Retriever Series champion.
Series 5 is a hunt savvy series, so what's that look like and what are these judges hoping to see from these teams?
Well, this is definitely a hunt savvy with a lot of action. Come up, start with some calling, shoot bird 1 once, bird 2 twice. Then you stop, reload, birds 3 and 4 come out, bird 4 right in your face, 25 yards, shoot it twice. Let a dog pick up any mark that they want, then you come back and run 152-yard poison bird blind with the other 3 marks left out there. If a dog picks up 1, you've got a big penalty. Pick up your other marks, finish it with another keyhole blind at 54 yards.
All right, well, let's get it started. Next up, we have Lee Howard and Shooter.
I tell you, Shooter is a big, good-looking dog out of the Seaside bloodlines. And this dog, excellent marker, but also excellent control. And there you see the way the scores or the faults are accrued here in this series. Of course, the dog with the lowest number of faults wins at the end of the day.
Lee Howard, his handler, is definitely one of the more soft-spoken competitors, but that does not mean that he's not a competitive guy. I know he's definitely wanting to win here, try to get himself a crown championship.
Hey, whether he's playing checkers or playing a retriever game, this guy does it serious.
All right, well, let's get it down to the line for our on-the-line commentators.
Lee's having a really good run. I believe he took 3 into the top 12.
Yeah, I think that's right. He lost Duke.
Lost Duke on the poison bird.
Has a little less experience in the SRS scene than most of the dogs running.
He's got a nice start.
Dog's actually behind the camera. You can see a little splashing. I think Lee's giving a left. I think Lee was afraid Shooter was going to get a little too far right. I mean, you can't attack the line to this line any harder than he is. Right now, that is a great line to the promised land. Lee made the mistake of blowing the whistle too quick while Emmy was in a similar position. It probably cost him 21 points.
My motto is the harder I train, the luckier I get.
Good one there, brother.
Bingo. Need to put that on a Best Retriever shirt.
Yeah. Jerry Day used to have a bumper sticker said that train, don't complain.
Lee is running Shooter on the 3rd of 4 marks, and he's going for the right bird of the flower pot. And then he's
we've seen 3 dogs in a row take this almost an identical line.
Oh,
there
good
of
decision.
Shooter.
You know why I think they're
know.
picking that lane? That lane has become
No, he's back
more...
there in the trees. It looked like he winded it, and then he just peeled out. Now he's coming back.
I think he's got the bird. I think he has.
No, now he's getting the bird.
No, he came back and got it.
Wow.
1 bird remaining, the left bird of the flower pot. And we call it a flower pot because 2 marks come out of the same station, 1 left and 1 right, like flowers growing from a pot.
Shooter picks this bird up and has even a marginal right-hand blind. He's guaranteed himself a trip back to the crown next year.
And a very nice mark there. Yeah, he's the first guy I feel like that's put pressure on the top. fix it where they can't lay up.
I believe it couldn't have been more than 4 or 5.
I was gonna say 6, so yeah.
Well, and
Yeah.
all he's had on the 4 marks was that loop on that right bird of the flower pot.
I think he definitely picked up 10 points right there. That was a very, very poor initial line to the right,
Yeah.
and he has continued on that line. Ooh, and that's a cast refusal right there.
Yeah, he's fighting him a little bit here. Got him through the slot. Now he's a little left.
Yeah, I think he's got 20 points on this blind already.
I was watching Lee right there. He didn't know which hand to put up, right or left.
Maybe
he's
24,
got it.
26.
He's got it, and he blew another whistle. He doesn't know he has it.
Are you sure he's got that bird?
Yes, he
Yes,
has
sir.
that bird.
He was blowing
He
the
didn't
whistle,
realize it.
and the dog was returning.
Great run by Shooter and Lee Howard with a score of 67, giving them a full total of 232 and putting them atop our leaderboard. But when we come back, our Eukanuba Team of the Year winner Luke, Core, and Bang head to the line. The Super Retriever Series Crown Championship is presented by Eukanuba, a leader in premium nutrition for sporting and working dogs, and by the Huntsville Sports Commission, Tangle-Free Waterfowl, and Prairie Rock Outfitters. Welcome back to the Super Retriever Series presented by Eukanuba. We're here at Cove Park in Huntsville, Alabama, and we're watching the 5th of our Super 6 head to the line, Luke, Core, and Bang.
Yeah, and David, you know, Luke and Bang definitely are a favorite here coming off of that Team of the Year win.
Absolutely. Luke and Bang have definitely come into their own this year. They've been the team to beat all year, and they're trying to keep that up here at the Crown Championship.
Yeah, and you know, the thing that I love about this young man is he is just so consistent in everything he does at the line.
Absolutely. J. Paul, let's sit in now on the on-site commentary.
There is one thing that I try to always impress upon my trainers, and that is to take your time. This is not a race.
Well, I'm pretty certain that Luke received the memo, buddy, because he definitely takes his time.
You're not being judged on how long this takes you. And every second you take will help that dog and communicate what you're trying to get out of them.
You know, we haven't said this recently, but we did early on.
I don't think he liked that initial line right there. I think he's a little more right than he wants to be.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yep, he's stopping him right away. Gonna get him lined out where he wants him. You know, these guys have been pretty consistent that a poor initial line on a blind costs you 10 points, but I don't know how bad is bad enough.
I would expect a verbal back right here, possibly an angle, and then the next cast being a verbal, because he's got water behind him. He's going to want him to push on that water. He got in by himself. He didn't need
Well,
it.
he's in a good slot right there. And look, he seems to be correcting a little. I'm shocked that whistle.
That's a good turn there. That's a good turn.
It is
When
a very
he
good
turns to
turn.
the right there, he's telling him what direction he wants to go next. Drag the cast out.
Now, Luke is definitely
Oh, a pop.
attacking this one. Oh, that's unfortunate.
That's a 5-point penalty there. He can't see that he's popped. Oh, he got out of it.
Luke was trying to reposition himself to see the dog. The dog saw the movement and went on it. Luke didn't know that he was sitting still.
I wonder if the judges know it.
He got it. See how much time he's taking? I tell Luke to pretend like you're shooting a rifle, and you make sure you're sighted right where you want to shoot that dog, and he does a perfect example of that.
But again, I don't know if there's a path that we can't see from here. I mean, look at Bang. Bang is pretty dang far to the right.
The wind is blowing right to left. He's got to turn left to get that bird.
I hear him splashing.
Got it.
Wow.
Wow.
Good job.
We haven't seen a whole lot of trouble on this last mark. We've seen a couple handlers put a quick handle on the dog while in the area. Let's see what kind of line we get out of Bang.
I'll be very shocked if we see Luke do a quick handle, unless he just really feels like Bang is out of sorts.
I agree with you, totally agree. I don't think you're going to see Luke want to waste 2 points at all.
You know, I think a quick whistle here is playing for third, and we know he's playing for first.
That is a good place to be, but he's not going to smell it. He's got to find it on his own. He's got it. 2 points maybe.
Look at Luke's body language. He's liking that. We see those white teeth smiling, looking out there at that blood.
Boy, he's got him locked. Bang found that slot and locked on that slot. I think Bang sees the picture.
Oh, I feel certain he does. This is a great place to be. If he can carry this line, not a lot of bad can happen from here on out. Oh!
Little stop there, little.
Got a nose full, something checked up. And got a cast refusal there. Didn't get the angle that he wanted out of it. He wanted to get that silent.
He was a little offline left, probably got 1 or 2 refusals.
He's still very, very happy with
I think
Luke.
Luke kept his lead over Lee.
I do too.
Is it enough to take first? We're about to find out.
We sure are about to find out, but first, the Eukanuba Spotlight and a visit with Dr. Joe Spoo.
Welcome back. Today we're joined by Eukanuba consultant and longtime sporting dog veterinarian, Dr. Joe Spoo. Dr. Spoo, welcome here, and what do we want to talk about today?
I think, thanks for having me, and I think, you know, with the summer right around the corner, I think talking about heat-related injury would be a good subject to talk about today.
Great. I know a lot of people, don't think about dogs overheating, but it can happen really, really quickly. What are some of the early warning signs?
I think some of the earliest signs that you see is a dog trying to move a lot of air. So heavy panting, the mouth's wide open, really ropey saliva because they're just trying to get air out and they're an inefficient cooling methods. The other thing is they start getting glassy eyed. So if that dog looks like nobody's home and he's looking at you for help, it's time to shut it down and give him some of that help.
So exactly what does a guy need to do very quickly in that situation?
Is get the dog cooled down, and that doesn't mean throw them in water. Water can be very warm, standing water that in the middle of summer. So wet the dog down, get him in the car with the air conditioning on high, move the air across the dog as much as you can with the air conditioning vents on high. If you're going to use ice, get it up in their armpits and in their groin where there's big blood vessels. Don't just put it on the surface of the dog, and get that dog cooled down as quickly as possible.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Dr. Spoo. As always, great to have you here today.
Thanks for having me.
Great stuff from Dr. Spoo there as always. So now we're going to head back down to the Super Doc and take a look at the Raider Run.
David, the Raider Run is all about speed. Who can get out there to the bumper the fastest and then get it back to the handler. And I'll tell you, I love watching this event to watch the handler as much as the dogs. These guys really get pumped up trying to get their dogs to kick it in another gear.
They absolutely do. You got a quick look there at the early leaderboard, but now we're going to check out Riot and handler Kim Dunn. Look at Riot go. Riot swimming down as fast as possible. Going to get that bumper, do as quick of a turn as possible, head back, and man, this is fun to watch. What a great time here from Riot with all the power and all the speed, putting up a time of 16.78 seconds.
Yes, sir. Next, from Wyckoff, New Jersey, we have Lindsay Hill and Kane. Man, they've traveled a long way. And look at Kane go. He's ready to go just a little bit farther. This dog really swims with a lot of power. I love to watch him go.
Absolutely. Kane with quite an impressive run there, but not quite as good as Riot. So Kane will finish in the placements, but won't be your winner. Will the winner be Duke and handler Zach Filler from Twinsburg, Ohio? Well, we're going to see. Here goes Duke. Super quick down there, grabbing the bumper, turning around, coming back. They need better than a 16.78 to win. And man, they got it, 16.59. They are your champions. Here's a look at our final standings there. Duke, Riot, and Kane finished first, second, and third. And when we come back, we'll head back to the last retriever run with Wiggles. The Super Retriever Series Crown Championship is presented by Eukanuba, a leader in premium nutrition for sporting and working dogs, the United Kennel Club, and by Lucky Duck Kennels, XL Boats, and Mud Buddy Motors. Welcome back to the lovely Huntsville, Alabama and Cove Park. And J. Paul, we sure have enjoyed our time here.
Yes, sir, David. It's always a great time here in Huntsville, Alabama.
So where are we headed in 2021?
Proud to announce that for the 2021 Crown Championship will be in Shreveport, Bossier, Louisiana.
Anyone interested in coming out and seeing us, keep up with all the details on our social media channels. We'll be posting some more information as the date draws closer.
Before we get too far into 2021, let's see the conclusion here today.
Yep, and up last but not least is handler Sean Sims and his dog Wiggles. Gotta love the name of that dog there. Let's get it down to our commentators at the line.
That's the most excitement I've seen out of Wiggles so far. I had the chance to talk with Sean before this series, and I asked him, how did you come up with the name Wiggles? And he said they had a litter of puppies, and they knew, his wife and him knew, that they were going to keep one. And this was the puppy that would wiggle everywhere in the litter. So they called him Wiggles.
I felt like his right-hand bird was a little harder to see than they've been being.
He's having to pull him. I think Wiggles is locked in on that bird, and Sean is reading that from him, and he's having to pull him off of that bird. He's got to run the blind.
All right, I think Sean made a little step around.
Boy, that dog was intense.
Well, I don't know that Wiggles, he's able to get Wiggles off that poison bird.
Well, I'll tell you what, dude, I would have definitely taken a couple steps back behind the line, pulled him backward, and then walked into that.
He wants that poison bird bad.
Good cast.
That might have been the cast right there that he needed.
Well, had probably a poor initial line, definitely a cast refusal. Made the gap.
That was a good whistle.
Oh.
But
Missed.
gave him too much change. This is going to change things greatly. Missed the gap.
Did he miss the gap? I thought he got it.
No, he missed it.
Missed the back end of it.
But right there, he gave up 25 of his 38 coming
Things
into
are
it.
going south fast. He's way left. Way left, and it's got to get him right, and Wiggles is not giving him that change.
He finally
There
got
he
it
is.
there. We
There
got a
he
lot
is.
of glare on our monitor. He gave up 25 of his 38-point cushion.
That's correct.
And then he gave up 10 for that poor initial line. So, of course, I'm not sure about the initial line that Bang had either. It was right on the edge.
You know, the gallery is really talking this over right now, trying to figure out what that's going to change.
So Bang had what was a questionable initial line. I think it's safe to say that Wiggles had a poor initial line.
Wiggles is right of this mark like we've seen the last 5 dogs do.
That handle to the area, it's a 10-point penalty for the handle to the area.
He turned right.
Plus 2 for the whistle. Okay, he was clearly leaving the area.
Did he smell that blind?
Yeah, I didn't think he got a great look at that bird. I thought he
The
saw
wind is turned to be directly in our face, coming directly from the blind toward the dog. He's got it. I think he's went from playing to win to playing to stay in the top 3.
Yeah, Stephen and Abby in 4th place. They were 82 points out. And that leaves really Lee or Luke. I wonder if this is something that Wiggles has ever seen before. You know, he's a field trial guy that runs opens. This may not be something that Wiggles has seen very often, this marshy
Wiggles
area.
is way left.
Wiggles is about to go out to the ocean.
I think he's going to wind it from out there.
You think so?
The wind is right to left, but
I don't
No,
know.
I think he was going out to sea. Well, I'm going to go out on a limb again here, folks. We won't know.
Don't you do it. Don't even say it. I know Luke is very superstitious, and you never talk about the no-hitter.
I can guarantee you we're going to see Sean and Wiggles back again. I think this is, unless he totally
He's
blows
only
it from
4
this
years
point.
old. This dog is only 4 years old.
I tell you what, if Sean's unhappy with him, I'll be happy to take him home with me. I love this dog. I really do.
You know, Sean's a pro trainer, but this is his personal dog, and I think that bond helps them a lot too. He's going to line this blind.
Isn't that something?
Wow. Good way to end it.
Yes,
Good
sir.
way to end it.
Don't know if it was good enough to keep him in the lead, but guys, I believe it was definitely good enough to keep him in the top 3.
Wow. Leo, J. Paul, it's been a pleasure.
I enjoyed it, man.
Enjoyed it greatly.
Wiggles and Sean Sims have a score of 142, meaning that this year's crown champion is Bang and Luke Coor.
And our 2020 crown champion is dog number 6, Bang, with Luke Kerr, with a final score of 228.
Congratulations to Bang and Luke Coor, as well as our second place team Shooter and Lee Howard, and our third place team Wiggles and Sean Sims. That's going to wrap it up for us here in Huntsville. Thank you for tuning in. For J. Paul Jackson, I'm David Hamilton, and we'll see you next year at the Super Retriever Series Crown Championship.